Amazing colleagues district. Give it up again for the incomparable Veronica. Listen, we served in leadership last Congress together. You have no idea of how hard this woman works. There's only so much you can put on social media and TV. This woman gives her all for this district every single day that she shows up, so you should all be proud. And the reason that she can go through those numbers so well is because she serves on the powerful Appropriations Committee. Lena, it is so good to see you, my friend. So good to see you, my friend. I decided that I wanted to wear a throwback t-shirt. This t-shirt is from when we broke quorum in 2021. Yeah. I wanted to stand in solidarity with those Texas House Dems that have decided that they were going to arouse the entire country and make them aware of the transgressions taking place right here in the state of Texas. So let's give it up for the Texas House Dems. And you know that I usually don't repeat myself, number one. Number two, I always try to figure out what is the song of inspiration for me. And today it was Michael Jackson. Now I'm an 80s baby. So I grew up with MJ. But when I think about what the Texas Dems were able to do in what was just only 2 weeks, they were able to ignite change in this country. You see, before they decided to break quorum, there was no conversation in California about whether or not they would try to counter what was taking place in Texas. There were no conversations going on in Illinois. These conversations weren't taking place until they had the audacity to say, we will not just sit here idly while you minimize our voices. Now, some want you to believe that this isn't about racism. Listen, I'm gonna just give y'all the facts and the numbers, because this isn't personal for me. This is about making sure that Texans are represented in all our beautiful shapes and colors. So, unfortunately, we saw that this map passed today in the Texas House. Bad. Now, if for some reason the Texas Senate decides that they want to break quorum, we can kill another special session. I just want to put it out there. But if for some reason this map ends up becoming law, do you understand that if you are, say, Latino in the state of Texas, that your vote is basically 1/3 that of your Anglo neighbor? If you are an African American in the state of Texas, then your vote is 1/5 that of your Anglo neighbor. Listen, we're not looking for handouts. We're looking for representation. representation. We're looking for people that will show up and represent for us, all of us in Texas. There's 30 million people in this state. How dare they decide that only a certain group of people are allowed to be heard? We all are entitled in this country, in a democracy, to be heard and to have representation that represents us. So here it is. People say, what can we do? Well, number one, you started off real well. You showed up today, even in the rain. Give yourself a hand clap. Now, number two, Veronica went down an exhaustive list of organizations that you can get engaged in. But the question, she forgot what, indivisible. But here's the thing. Right now, people keep asking a couple of questions if they associate themselves as Democrats. One of the questions is, who is our leader? That's one of the questions. I am here to tell you that, as Michael Jackson told us a long time ago, I'm gonna need you to look in the mirror. You are the ones that we have been waiting for. The reality is that most people don't want to listen to a politician because most people don't trust politicians. And after all the things that we've seen, whether we're talking about the pedophiles or otherwise, I absolutely understand why they don't want to trust the politician. I'm not mad at you. So if you're not going to trust the politicians, then it's up to you to be the change that you want to see in this country. So that starts with doing things like making sure that they can't divide us. That has been my most frustrating thing. Because when you look at the agenda of this administration, there is something for everybody to hate. Whether you hate their immigration policies or really it's just immigration thuggery because it ain't policies. If you hate that, if you hate their anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion, also known as rolling back our civil rights and civil liberties, if you hate the fact that every time you look up, it seems like they're going after a political enemy instead of going after actual criminals, if for some reason you feel a way about the fact that they have fired hard-working federal workers in every single agency that you can think of, if you had looked at the fact that they are trying to defund education in this country so that only a select group can afford to be educated, listen, or you can look at the fact that they said we want to take healthcare away from 17 million people, also deleting $1 trillion out of the healthcare economy, raising premiums on every single one of you, no matter what type of healthcare you have. Or let's just say that you actually care about your neighbor that unfortunately cannot afford to put food on their table. And so you say, I am against the fact that they want to shut down SNAP benefits to our most vulnerable when they're only getting $6 a day to eat in the first place. And by doing so, our farmers and our ranchers, which we have a lot of them in Texas, they are going to suffer. When they decided to cut off USAID, it was our farmers and our ranchers that suffered because they lost those contracts. Now they've decided that children that go to school and are entitled to a free lunch, they are not going to be able to eat. Let me tell you something. This is not a pro-life party. This is a pro-death party. There is something for each and every one of you to hate that they are doing if you have a soul. That's it. Anybody that has half a soul is over this administration. It didn't take 7 or 8 months for us to realize that we were in some big trouble. We knew that in the first few days, unfortunately. Or the fact that we had an economy that was recovering as one of the strongest to recover out of the pandemic in the world, and now all of those gains, we are losing them. Besides the fact that people are losing their jobs, they're not going to be able to afford their food, they're not going to be able to afford housing, they're not going to be able to afford healthcare, education. We are talking about the very basics. And maybe this sounds normal for some place other than the United States of America, but that's not who we are. So let me tell you something. I appreciate the flags that I see. I appreciate the fact that we opened this by singing our national anthem. Don't let them take patriotism away from us, because we are the real patriots in this country. Don't let them come on and corrupt Christianity, because we know what it means to love thy neighbor. It is time for us to rise instead of sitting there and saying, well, we live in Texas and it's deep red. It ain't. If it was, they wouldn't go through so much to try to minimize our ability to get to the ballot box. They are systemically making sure that we cannot express ourselves. That is why they went as far as to incarcerate my former colleague who had not broken a law. This is not America. And if you are not mad, you are not paying attention. So here's the deal. Because there's two amazing men coming after me. So I do not want to hold you, but I do want to motivate you. I do want you to believe in the power of change. I do want you to believe that you are the change makers that you have been waiting for. I want you to know that I am the girl that never was supposed to be. My parents weren't politicians. I didn't grow up in an extra political family. I never was supposed to go to law school. When I tell you that I wasn't supposed to win my state house race, and it was the closest state house race in the state of Texas, and I was a thank you, Lottie, into the Texas House, by a whopping 90 votes after having been outspent 5-1, and the difference was the people. I'm not here to hype you up because that's what a politician is supposed to do. I'm here to testify and give you my testimony about what I know you can do. As I sat here with our amazing Councilwoman Rocha, we were talking about volunteers. And we were talking about how hard it is to find them. What I didn't tell her, and I mean this, and so that's why I want you to really pay attention and decide today that you are going to do something. You are going to do at least one thing to save this country, because this country belongs to all of us and our children that are coming behind us and their children. What I didn't tell her as we were talking about volunteers and campaigning was that when I was running for the state house, I ended up with over 300 volunteers for a state house race. That is unheard of. And even though we did not have the money, we had the people. And the people believed, and when they showed up, they talked about the fact that they took off work just to volunteer for me. That they were missing money because they believed in my ability. And somehow, after just one term in the Texas House, I got a call from the late, great Eddie Bernice Johnson. And she said, it's time for you to move on up, kid. Let me tell you something. Never, ever doubt yourselves. Never, ever doubt your power. You're the most influential person in your circle. Make sure you use that influence and you use it for good. So my challenge to you is, after you sign up for every organization that Veronica told you to sign up for, at least once a week. How many of you have a group chat? Yeah, you are. That's the only place we can't invade as politicians. If y'all understand, no ads come in the group chat. So I need y'all to be my asters. I need you to go in there and make sure you're sharing at least one truth. Don't be presumptuous that in your family group chat they all know what's going on. Or if it's your soccer mom group chat, whatever it is, make sure you are sharing at least one fact about what is taking place in our country. Because one of the reasons that we lost this election was because of disinformation, or as I like to say, just flat out lies. We need to be truth tellers. That is my charge to each and every one of you. Find one truth to make sure that you are telling people every single week that are within your circle. And then I'm going to piggyback off of Veronica. I am so tired of us being divided. I said that earlier. And I think it's easy to be divided if our only communications are through the internet. In fact, as many of you are sitting in here in a crowded room with standing room only, how many of you took the time to introduce yourself to the person sitting next to you? That's my point. That's my point. So, I heard we got some preachers in here. And in black church, they usually tell you, turn to your neighbor. And at least say hi and introduce yourselves. You see, but let me tell you what's crazy about that. This is a friendly room. We are so disconnected. At some point in time, we used to know who our neighbors were. We used to absolutely be able to go over and borrow sugar, or at a very minimum, when I was growing up, everybody knew that I belonged to my granny. So if I got out of line, I was getting reported on, right? We have to get back to that sense of community. It is harder to hate someone that you know. It is so much easier to listen to them and to hear them pass an ugly red hat. Y'all caught that? So I'm begging you, I'm charging you to push yourself past what our current norm is. To start to introduce yourself to people as you're out. You don't have to be a politician to talk to people. I just want you to go up and talk to people and start to have real human connection. I personally believe that that is going to be the solution to stopping all the hate and allowing us to see our commonality and hopefully unite against the only hater that we have right now, which is the one in the White House, y'all. All right, I appreciate y'all. So now, with real life superheroes that surround me. And one of the superheroes that you're about to hear from is a superhero in every single way. Besides the fact that technically he kind of has like a body double. I'm looking for one myself. If anybody's interested. This is someone who understands the importance of doing right at all times. You know, it's interesting because a lot of politicians become real invested in something once it becomes personal. And then there's some people that just see good legislation and say it's what we need to do. Well, let me tell you, way before Congressman Castro was going through his own health battles, he was a champion for health care. That is what public service looks like. And overall, these are the type of people that we have to make sure that we are sending into every single level of government. It's people that just want to do the right thing because it's just the right thing to do. So I've never met his mama, but she raised two amazing public servants. And so I am so thankful to be able to serve with him, to be able to learn from him, and honestly just be able to admire him in all that he does. So please join me in my prayer.
Thank you, Jasmine.